Motivation is probably another familiar term for you. A lot of students who take this class find it interesting, though, to think more deeply about what it means, both in day-to-day use and in psychology. We'll learn more about motivation in a future module, including specific theories of motivation and ways to motivate people. For now, we'll start with the definition and how it relates to performance. The definition of motivation in our text is representative of most of the ways it's discussed in psychology. We can think about it as having two parts: what influences behavior, or the input, and the result of the influence, or the outcome. The influence part of the definition is pretty broad. It refers to the conditions. That gives the idea, though, that there can be a lot of things that influence behavior. When we learn about the theories, we'll learn more about the research findings that provide more specific definitions of conditions. The result of the influence is the variations in intensity, persistence, quality, and direction of behavior. It's the part that makes me think about the difference between a wind-up toy and a bicycle. It's a little more quirky than the metaphors the book uses, which are person is machine, which is my wind-up toy, and person is scientist, which I think bicycle. The reason I think of wind-up toy is because sometimes it seems like we talk about motivation in a way that gives the impression that the result is just progress in a given direction or lack thereof. The progress is pretty consistent until it runs out of energy and then it stops. The possibility for variations in intensity, persistence, quality, and direction, though, are more like riding a bicycle. We can have a lot of resistance, we can pedal really fast, we can coast, we can go for a short ride, we can go a long ride, we can meander, we can race, and we always need to steer. When we think about it that way, we might realize that means conditions are usually influencing behavior in one way or another. It's probably not surprising that motivation is included as an influence on performance, even if you weren't thinking about the definition from psychology. If we think about the definition and the formula for motivation that includes situational constraints, though, we get a better idea of how much the situation can influence performance. In the formula, the situational constraints would be those separate from motivation, like available resources. There are also other parts of the situation that represent the condition from the definition of motivation. When I realized this recording would only include 2 slides, I thought about combining it with another idea. Then I realized the points those slides represent are important enough to stand alone. Thinking about motivation in terms of the conditions that influence behavior can provide a powerful perspective to understand behavior, ours and others. It also helps us realize how much situations influence our behavior in a particular job.